The Couture 303 podcast with Jayviperdj.
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Station Vapes. Located next to Hunts Cross Station, with friendly, knowledgeable staff, fully stocked shop with great prices and deals for all your vaping needs. Station Vapes is the #1 vape shop in Liverpool. Go to stationvapes.co.uk or follow them on Instagram at Station Vapes.
Well, it's a November morning, it's pissing down outside, but we've brought a little bit of sunshine your way today. We've got the legendary, the one and only Mc LiveLee.
I suppose I better do it. Oi, oi.
How are we, Lee? You okay?
Yeah, rocking the main streets. Is it southwest Liverpool?
Yeah, it's a South Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, rocking, yeah.
All good. What do you think of the studio?
You owe me 2 quid, so I just went over the Runcorn Bridge, mate.
You're not going back as well, are you?
What? No, I've got some bits to do in Liverpool, you know. Yeah. So, no, great to be here.
Yeah, so thank you. First of all, I know you got a lot going on, so thanks very much for doing this, Lee. So what we do with all our guests, we go right back to the start, yeah. He's going to start banging the table. I just told him fucking not to. We're going to go right back to the start. So where and when were you born, Lee?
I was born in Walthamstow, Whips Cross Hospital in East London. Okay. E17, if anyone remembers them. That manor.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I always do a little song on this one.
Stay another day, all right. So I've got funny stories about them and all in the Roller Express in London, but that's a different time. But no, in fairness, yeah, grew up there in a nice area just away from there called Chigwell in Essex, which we was living in a big home, yeah, with my grandparents, my real dad who moved away and left me and my mum there. And then we went from living in the biggest house in the world to probably one of the worst estates in East London. So that was a definite character building.
Yeah. And what year was this?
Well, I was born in 73, so yeah, still in my prime. But no, I'd say by the age of sort of 6, 7, we went from, you know, sort of high end to pure low end, you know, where you go to school and people are like coming up trying to nick your trainers and stuff. And I'm like, Mummy.
Mother, somebody stole my shoes today.
Yeah, so I think it makes you who you are, though. Seeing both sides as well, I think, you know, you get to know different kinds of people, different sort of ways, and yeah, definitely. I think
you can't buy street smart, mate.
No,
you really can't. You know, and you can be the toughest guy in the world, but if you haven't got that street knowledge, I mean, I'm fucking not saying I am, like, but I grew up in Netherley in Liverpool, which is quite a rough area, and you get that about you. You get that sense of like spatial awareness.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
You get that sense of, you know, this is not a good place to be. We need to get out of here.
Without a doubt. Jay, honestly, bang on there, mate. I think, you know, one thing that it instilled in me, because I'd seen the other side, I knew that this weren't it for me, you know. Yeah. I think, you know, it was never going to be academic, me getting out of there, you know, without a doubt, because quite funny, being an MC, well, ended up being an MC, you know, I didn't know it at the time, but at school I was dyslexic. It wasn't until many years after. Yeah. How on earth I'd done the R to the A to the V to the E to the R? Probably all mixed up half the time. But no, in fairness, I think you find, yeah, you didn't know it, so you just carried on. You know, I was good at sports, which helped, I think, you know, get me through the school days, but I knew my kids or, you know, me weren't going to end up there. I'm not saying it's a bad place, because there's some great things that come out of those places. Yeah. But definitely it makes us who we are, doesn't it? You know, so, but I think I had a fairly good childhood, you know. I think a lot of that was my mum struggled, you know, getting us where we are. Obviously, tough times, but my nan and granddad always looked after me and at weekends and stuff, and you know, we was quite privileged, you know. Yeah.
So where would you say your musical from an early age? When did music become a thing for you? When did you realise? Obviously, you know, you listen to nursery rhymes when you're a baby, like, but when did music become a thing for you?
Do you know what? This is mad. I would say none of my family music influences, nothing musical influences until probably, you know, early start of, you know, rap and stuff like that. Well, I just used to go and buy, you know, your first, you know, Mantronics album or stuff like that. That's how late it was for me. You know, I can't remember listening really to music as a kid. Really? No.
That's shocking,
strange, isn't it?
A lot of people in this scene, they've come up and they've all said, yeah, my mum was listening to this, my dad, I had an older brother who used to fucking plough listen to me and stuff like that. None of that, no?
Nah, none of it. None of it. I can't even remember music being in the house. Yeah. Let alone, you know, going to concerts or listening to other things as, you know, as well. It weren't you know, nothing like that with us.
Yeah.
So
when did the rave scene become a thing for you then?
Well, that's, I'd say, going back to say where I come from, yeah, one year, obviously, I used to play ice hockey, street hockey, you know, at a high level, play for GB and everything, you know. So I was banging some sports focus on that, you know, and I played a lot of football, but, you know, hockey was my main thing. But one year, I was walking home on a New Year's Eve. I didn't drink, didn't do any bits and pieces, you know, and got jumped one New Year's Eve by 8 guys with baseball bats and crowbars. I'm sure Vibes had something to do with it. But no, in fairness, yeah, just random. So I ended up in hospital, broke, you know, a good 40-odd bones that night. Got away from, you know, it would have been worse, but spent a long time in hospital. Went out with the money I got paid out from the Criminal Compensation Board, flew out to Tenerife and worked on the booze cruise. So the first time I'd say really in finding out about music in clubs and stuff was on the booze cruise. There was a club out there called La Rocca, which was in the mountains, you know, just outside Cristianos in Tenerife. And there was rave.
Yeah.
There was rave. So we used to rave it away. So, yeah, when I come back, it's sort of, right, what's all these raves about?
Yeah. So this I'm guessing this is early 90s then?
Late 80s,
okay.
Early 90s, yeah. So, yeah, very early 90s. So, yeah, I think I come back to England 92. Yeah, 92.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so the first rave, funny enough, I had a girlfriend called Lisa. Hi, Lisa. And in fairness, she was totally different to anything like that. We split and I went into Boogie Times Records, which is quite legendary. You know, it's where all the guys used to sit. You had Rat Pack, you had Andy C, you know, you had Slipmatt, you had all the guys you can imagine, you know, Prodigy, everyone getting their records, you know.
Wow.
So all these guys were Essex based. So went in there, got a ticket for a rave called Seduction.
Anything to do with DJ Seduction?
No, nothing to do with it. And went to the rave with a friend of mine, took him there. Funny story, literally I got in there within about 2 minutes, met this raver I carried on raving with for years, a guy called Jurassic Bob. He was old.
Is that his real name?
No, he was old, so we called him Jurassic. And he gave me my first Gary. So literally I met this Gary, arm out my box, flying some shapes. And I get a tap on the shoulder. So all of a sudden, like, you know, tingles going down my back, thinking, oh, I'm in. And it's a guy standing there saying, listen, mate, you're a wicked dancer. What's the chances of you going up on stage if I pay you? So I'm like, yeah, it's a joke, isn't it? Straight up, this is it. So I'm like, I said, how much are you going to pay me? He said, I'll give you like 75 quid.
Fucking hell.
So back then, hang on a minute, I'm going to a rave and 75, yeah, I'll take that. So next thing I'm on stage dancing. And met a guy who was on the stage because all the other dancers let him down. And we got connected and we started a dance group called Partners in Crime.
Yeah.
So,
and how long did that go on for?
About 2.5 years.
Fucking hell.
So we started, you know, we then, you know, got a group together, audition people, but we had dancers dancing all over the sort of, you know, the raves around London and stuff, which was amazing. You know, we used to go out to the raves and actually meet the promoters, introduce ourselves, and basically it just went from there. It just escalated. And these were like big. And the first big rave we actually got was World Dance.
Yeah.
Which was at Lyd Airport. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, and we were dressed as basically clowns, if you can imagine. Red and white outfits. There's a few videos floating around.
We'll find them. We will find them.
I'll send them, don't worry, I ain't shy, you know. And yeah, loving life really. We were a family, you know. It was a genuine family. You know, we used to go dance all night and then go back to an after party at my mate Fast Feet Pete's house. And 2 days later, you sort of, walk away and get ready for the next weekend. Yeah.
So you played at World Dance as well, you said, yeah?
World Dance, played at Wembley, dance at, Wembley.
Wow.
So, all of them, Helters, Dreamscapes and stuff like that, which there was a big a big venue in London called the Roller Express. And that's where I met Vibesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we was playing at a rave called Elevation. And literally I was dancing on stage and it just made his first track that had done really, really well. Music's Wonderful. Yep. And a few others, Sing It Loud. and said, listen, I'm just about to do a PA. You know, I've been asked to do a PA. Could I have you two dance for us? So we were like, yeah, you know, of course, you know, all this money being thrown at us from all different places and we're dancing on massive stages. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, we're in.
Yeah.
But so, done that for a year with Shane, I'd say, you know, doing different PAs. Also done PAs for Full Styles and Evolution, which it was then. Yeah. You know, we went up to Resurrection in Scotland, played in front of 30,000 people.
Jesus Christ.
Which, but I think it got to the stage where I think I'd outgrown the dancing. But me and Shane had started becoming friends, me and Vibesy. And we was meeting in a week, you know, playing snooker, you know, going for a drink or whatever. And I then started going, you know, driving out with him instead of doing the gigs, you know, instead of
just going with his his mate type thing.
Yeah, basically, you know. And that's really how it happened. There was no, I want to be an MC, I want to do it. It was just, I'm going out with him. I don't really want to do the dancing anymore, you know.
So how did it come about then, the MCing? You know, was it just kind of, you know, in a car one day?
I remember it as clear as day. I think it's mad. How my brain is still intact, you know. I'm not going to lie, mate, you know. I had a problem, you know. I had a major drug problem. I just couldn't get enough of them. Yeah, that was, I mean, in a good way, you know. I loved it. That was me. And it was excess. But I went out with Shane one night. We went to a club called Milwaukee's, which is in Ruston. You know, Dreamscape done some there. But there was a weekly event, you know, there called Equinox. But Shane said, do me a favour, pick the mic up, because they were mainly drum and bass, even though they weren't drum and bass, more jungle style MCs. Because remember, hardcore and jungle then was all one genre.
Yeah.
You know, you had Shane playing, you know, Long Dark Tunnel, you had Fantasy playing SL2, you know, and stuff like that. So, you know, all the DJs played a bit of everything. So I picked up the mic, just can't even remember what I said, you know. There was no LiveLee then, it was still Lee.
Yeah.
I think that was it. Done it a couple of times at a few places. And then I went to Stoke-on-Trent, which Club Kinetic, and just done a few bits that I've been thinking about. And then a few weeks later, Shane phoned me and said they want to book you as an MC as well. So, you know, how much do you want? So I'm like, never thought of it. Never thought of it. You know, and Jay, back then there was no, you know, like now where MCs, they know there's 16 bars, there's 32, you know, we didn't know none of that then, you know, no MCs made tunes, no MCs were probably a DJ, because if they was a DJ, they probably would have been a DJ, not an MC really. Yeah. So I think that's why there were so many unique styles, because they weren't trying to fit as many words into 16 or 32 or whatever. Yeah. You know, they were just trying to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had this conversation a number of times now. I think, unfortunately, when it comes to MCs now, there's a lot of wannabe MCs, and listen, I can't do it. It's a fantastic talent, and the likes of yourself and there's many others who really have got it down to a fucking fantastic art form. But unfortunately, there's a lot of fucking chances, and unfortunately, when you got chances and you got 2 or 3 of them on stage, just passing the fucking mic around, and it gets monotonous. And like you said yourself there, your job essentially, I think the job as an MC is to announce the DJ, big up the crowd, and as you just said, then fill in the gaps.
Yeah, definitely.
And it takes a lot to do that well, because a lot of people, like you said, they just want to go on and on and on and on.
Definitely. I think the other thing as well is, you know, you look at it, I class it as the middleman. You know, we always hear this thing, you know, there's a middleman, You know, you got the DJ behind me, you got the crowd in front. So we're the middleman, you know.
Quite literally,
literally. So, you know, and it became apparent pretty quick that the music was at that time splitting, You know, a few of them had chose to go to the jungle drum and bass scene, and there's this awesome
happy,
bouncy music coming. So the further north we're going, anywhere apart from London, you know, we're starting to play these bouncy stuff, you know. You go to, you know, the Northwest, and you know, they love it. You know, they're literally, you know, the bouncy it can get. You know, you go over to the Northeast side, and they were into a bit of everything, you know. Wales, they were into sort of, you know, the bouncy stuff as well. So it's quite random, you know. But I could see that was where, at the time, it weren't where me and Shane was going, where Shane was going, and I was MCing with him. But after Kinetic, I think obviously they recorded every set.
Yeah.
That then people started asking for us.
Yeah.
So it was literally in a space of a few weeks. This is how mad it is. So I think getting phone calls every day. I was saying, so-and-so wants us, so-and-so wants us. So we played a Dreamscape at the Sanctuary in Milton Keynes. Met Charlie B properly, and he had acquired some little fellas, a big bag of little fellas. And I had a flat just over the road from Shane in a place called Grays in Essex. So his flat, I was in his old flat, and he had got to a new flat because he was, loaded then and whatever, So, and me and Charlie B after it went back, locked himself in his room, and literally for about a week got obliterated. We even kidnapped the postman.
Like an episode of Bottom.
Mate, it was worse than that. We stand at the window like pretending to meet machine gun neighbours and all stuff like that. But we did kidnap the postman. We named everything in the house, like Ed the bed, Byron the iron, everything. Just chaos. But about 3 days into it, we said, right, what should we do? There's a bit of paper. We'll write a bit of lyrics off and we're going to have a battle off. Absolutely out of cake, and we did it. Well, they obviously sat in my mind. So the next place I went, wherever it was, there was a CD tape pack, went out, and everyone starts singing along. The next places I'm going, I'm thinking, that's strange. Have they heard that?
Yeah.
Because you don't think of it.
It really was a weird phenomenon. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know, and there might be someone else out there. I don't know of an MC who took it to the level that you took it to, where it was like a fucking rock concert. Yeah. You'd start the lyric and the crowd would finish it off, and I've never seen that before.
I think it's funny, you do say that, because there was a minute. I think we played at obviously all these little clubs that were scattered all around the UK and wherever we're playing, and people were starting to follow what we do. Yeah, but then all the time we went to a big Helter. And as you said, we done that, and everyone was literally singing back. And I come off after, I looked at Shane and I said, seriously, mate, we've got something here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a point in the 90s, you were like fucking pop stars. And I said this to Shane when he was here, you genuinely were like fucking pop stars. You couldn't go anywhere. You were fucking absolutely huge. So, obviously, apart from that incident with Charlie B, who were your other influences, or who else was MCing at the time?
Massively. I could literally couldn't. There was so many different MCs, but they were zonal as well. For the likes of, we went to Liverpool. You had Cyanide,
Yep.
Great guy, Glenn. And then you go down to the south, and you've got like the Marleys. You got you got 90, but. For me, a massive influence was the first time I heard Sharky and Druid. Yeah. I can remember meeting John, and he was like, oh, look, with this MC thing's going places. He said, I've just gone for, vocal coaching. I'm looking at him, he said, the bloke's mad.
Yeah.
But then heard him at the rhythm station, with Druid, literally, mate, blow my mind, And I'm like, wow, hang on a minute, this could go even higher, So, definitely a major thing. And then there was another quite poignant moment, I think, when I played at Kinetic the next time. There was a PA on before us, and it was ultrasonic. So, melancholy. So, I wouldn't say for the lyrics as much, it was the energy.
Yeah.
So, say the lyrics from Sharky with the energy of melancholy, I could see a sort of a thing that, hang on, I want a bit of that.
Yeah.
So if I can jump around, get the crowd going, look at them in the eye and get them all interacting, but have the lyrics as well, that's going to work, isn't it?
Yeah, I seen Ultrasonic, I think it was 6 or 7 times in the Drome in Birkenhead where Cyanide was the MC, wasn't he? He was the main guy, and you were guaranteed a good night. When Ultrasonic were on, and like you say, it was that energy.
Yeah.
And he's still got it now, and he's still fucking smashing it now.
Still got it.
And to be fair, I don't think he'll be listening to this, but if it was the Mc LiveLee podcast, it was listening to that podcast that inspired me to do this.
Yeah.
Because he had some fantastic guests on. I thought, I'll have a little bit of that. And then here we are.
Jay, I sent him a message, probably only about 4 years ago, just to say, listen, mate, we met a few times, but just to let you know, if it weren't for you, probably LiveLee wouldn't have been as lively as he was, So, just to say, thank you for, opening my eyes. And so definitely them two. But before that, you know, when I was, say, dancing, the one who actually made me want to MC was a guy called MC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was massive. I mean, absolutely.
And the Rush Hour family.
Yeah, that's him. You know what I mean? Him, Stevie Hyper-D, you know, RIP, another one of our lost ones. Legendary. But for me, Morris had it. MC's just the timing, you know, very much reminded me of like the Rebel MC of that, you know, the rave scene, you know, that clear, you can hear the words and you can sing along with it, which is probably where I got mine.
You had it down to a fucking art form, you really did. So what was I going to say to you then? So I fucking lost me fucking saying that.
That's all right, mate. It's a Monday morning.
It's never happened. It's not you, it's me.
It's Tuesday.
Must be the weather.
Yes,
so you're MCing strictly for vibes at this point?
No, I also used to do a little, it was a pirate radio station called Dream FM, which got bigger and bigger, you know. And they played quite happy hardcore, you know, like the Jimmy J, you know, remix record stuff, you know, a lot of that. But I got in with a few of the guys there and was doing, you know, sets every Sunday, underground places, travelling, you know, away from the police. But then obviously they started having raves. So my first actual MC set was with Hixie.
Yeah?
Yeah, at a well-known club in London called the Laserdrome. I see you in at Westfest this weekend and we was talking about it still. You know, it's crazy when you think all those years ago, you know, who would have thought we would have, you know, gone to where we did.
The thing is as well, it's weird in the hardcore scene. It's like the original guys, as you just mentioned there, Sharky, Hixie, yourself, Shane. Yeah. It's like when you see a lineup now of hardcore DJs, it's nearly always one of them guys who's still on the fucking top of the pile.
Yeah,
it's really strange. You know, you don't get that in any other scene.
Yeah,
you know, in the rock scene, if you like, new bands come through and they'll eventually headline Donington, Monsters Rock, whatever. But with the hardcore scene, for some reason, the old guys have just fucking stayed on the top, haven't they?
Definitely, I think they've got to have one on their lineup somewhere. You know, along the line, just to, I don't know, he's obviously still work. But even more so, I'll say, with MCs, because, you know, I think you could DJ up to 60, whatever, you know, but as an MC, now there's not many of us, you know, there weren't many of us when you think about it, you actually got to that pure, you know, the higher level. But, now there's not many at all, you know, because it is hard. It is hard now to do what you did then, you know, now. And you become a tribute act. Yeah. You know, because if I go out there and come out with all new lyrics, people are going, I ain't come out for that.
Exactly. It's the AC/DC phenomenon, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can have a new album out all day and play one or two often by all means, but people want to hear the classics.
Of course they do. You know, it'd be like Chesney Hawkes not singing One and Only. Do you know what I mean? You know,
shouts out to Chesney Hawkes if you're listening.
Cool, mate. Up the irons as well. He's a West Ham supporter.
Is he?
Yeah, straight up. So, you literally, mate, I got to, you know, there was a stage where the music started, you know, changing, 90s, 98, you know, and bits and people were saying, why don't you do this whole new thing? You know, for me, it was hard, you know. I think I was in a, you know, a weird relationship, which should never have happened, you know. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't change it. I had 3 amazing kids. So, you know, I was like, if I've got to change, that means I've got to reinvent as well and start.
3 amazing kids. You said one of them was a cunt before.
No, they all are. They all are. I've got 3, but I've inherited another one, and now I've got a grandson as well. But no, they're the good things. But obviously, I'd say back then it was a very hard juggle because I was lively by name, lively by nature. Yeah. You know, if I ain't coming back for a week, I ain't coming back for a week. Yeah. That ain't comparing, really, is it? Yeah. you know, but. I also think that's a big part of it. You know, going back to after parties with networking or, you know, getting crowds to know what you're about because the story started travelling. There's no internet, but people hear. But I wanted to do it better than anyone else because if I'm standing on the stage entertaining them, I wanted to think that guy's a fucking nutter. Yeah. Yeah. If he's portraying that, you've got to be it. Yeah. You know,
it's like character, like method acting. You've got to live the character, of course. Yeah. You can't be MC LiveLee and then, you know, putting your pipe in slippers.
Oh, mate, you're definitely a Gollum, and you know, sort of, you know, where you 1 minute you get there, you switch on your MC LiveLee, and then when you walk off, you lead to. But with me, there weren't that cut off back then. You know,
the line blades.
But nowadays, there's a lot of more so DJs that are probably just never been to a rave. Yeah, they're amazing in the studio, but to me, how could you experience if you've, not been on that floor covered in water bottles, and literally feeling that rush. It's
like boxing coaches, isn't it? A good boxing coach will have boxed himself at some point because he understands what it's like to be in there, get punched in the face, get winded, get knocked on his ass, and try and come back.
Lose, all of that, mate. I think without a doubt, and that's the other thing. I don't think anyone ever realised that being an MC, you're live, and at the time you don't realise how many years of listening to it because of the CD, tape packs. Let's go back, so we're still back there. The tape packs. So every house, we used to come up to here, having a session in Berkeley or Liverpool or wherever. We used to go down the road, a car goes past, there's my voice.
Yeah.
A house, the window's open, there's my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy,
I can imagine,
But so then you have to be really aware of when you're on stage. So I used to listen to myself a lot, and people used to say, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Not really, no.
But to me, it was because if something worked, I want it to work right. Yeah, so if I can do that with that, it weren't about, listen to me, I'm great.
Well, no, it's seeking for improvements, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, with the fame side of things, I think I did mention this to Shane. I don't know whether it was on or off the podcast, but it must be strange being like fucking really, really famous in a certain scene, but yet you can walk around as there, and if there's no one there of a certain age, you can just fucking walk around the house. No one knows who you are.
Rave was that definite scene. If you was in it full bore. And as I said, there's certain places we could walk around. Certain places back then, probably we would have, if we walked into a pub next to me, there's 30, 40, 50 people. And as this, then I'll give you an example. First time we ever get booked to play in Toronto. For a Hullabaloo, a big rave out there. Guy called Anabolic Frolic booked us. So we fly out there. Never been out there in a life. Shane hasn't, I haven't. Big 28,000 indoor arena thing on the marina in Toronto that we're playing at. We got there and he said, on the phone before, it's cold. We got there, it's minus 30.
Fucking hell.
Right? So
an understatement.
I'm sure we're going to come to this later, but I used to have seriously long hair. Yeah, we all did down from that manner, but seriously long hair, so I got off the plane, got into the hotel, had a shower, put my hair back. As I walked outside, I could hear this rattling and my hair had frozen up. So it was like having braids, mate. So I'm like, what? I said to this Chris Anabolic Frolic, mate, I'm going to have to go to the mall. I'm going to have to buy a jacket and a hat. Went there. All of a sudden, someone comes up, Mc LiveLee. Wow, wait there. I'm going to buy a camera. There's no camera phones.
Fucking hell.
Walked up, bought one of those disposable cameras. By the time he come back, he bought 30 on of his mates.
Fucking hell.
And we're like, how? They said, we've got the Helter Skelter videos, because they wouldn't have known their face from the tape.
Yeah.
So they've got the videos. And so next thing, they're pulling us in the car, getting us away. That's when you start thinking, that's weird.
I am like a bit like a pop star now, man. You think about it like that? You that must have gone through your head. I'm a bit like fucking, a 90s Justin Bieber here.
Yeah, without a doubt, I think it was. But at the same time, I think there is that bit when the disco lights go off, then, I think why it worked for me and Shane is because the others, the MCs, used to MC for everyone. Yeah. So they was booked at Helter and they could go on with 3 DJs that night. Yeah. So their identity was them. Yeah. Where we was Vibes and Lively. So, we in the week we was together. Yeah. So we kept ourselves busy. Yeah. Where some people probably lost it. Whatever. Then we drove together. So everywhere we went, we're in the car. We're doing 8 hours in the car, 4 hours at a rave, at the weekend. So we used to do about 8 gigs a weekend. Yeah. So I think that the camaraderie and the friendship, it worked because it carried over onto the stage.
Yeah. And again, we said about bands before, you do get like these bands and they make it big time. And the only time they're together is when they're on stage and you can see it. You can see the chemistry's gone. You can see the disdain. Guns N' Roses was a prime example of that. For the longest time, they just fucking didn't get on. And that electricity that you and Shane have still got now is evident because it's a deep-rooted friendship. It
is, but I'd say, as Shane was saying, we have had bits where we have gone the other way, I think it's like a relationship, you know. I haven't slept with him.
That's not what he said.
No, I was asleep that night. Yeah, but no. In fairness, it was. You know, there's times where, especially with having a family and whatever, you know, it got to the stage where we needed a break. So, you know, and a couple of times we have, or a couple of times not we fell out of love. Yeah. We just needed space, you know.
I think with anything, when you work together and you spend time together socially, it can become a little bit too much, you know. So you mentioned before the hair. We'll touch on the hair now. So your hair was literally down to your arse at one point, wasn't it?
It was, mate. Having crap haircuts as a kid. Yeah, and I mean, if you look at some of the pictures, mate, my hair used to grow at the back. So I was a bit like Cilla Black when she had her boot literally at the top. It went out the top. Yeah, whatever haircut I had, that still grew first. So started growing my hair, you know, and I thought, yeah, it's the only style that actually works. So I had probably a 3-year start on all the other DJs and MCs, and it was a London, Essex, South Coast thing. Yeah,
as we said before, off the record, the hardcore scene in the mid to late 90s, the southern DJs, they all had long hair. Yeah. You know, off the top of my head, there was yourself and Vibes. There was Brisk. Yeah. There was Hicksy. Yeah. There was Slipmatt. Dougal. Yeah. And then you had the likes of Scott Brown. Yeah. He had the ponytail going on. Yeah. The Clark, he had long hair as well at one point, didn't he? Yeah. But then when you come up north, you know, Stu Allen didn't have long hair. Yeah, Demand didn't have long hair. You know, it's mad. It was definitely a southern thing, wasn't it? And then like the West Country was a little bit off the side, like. But so, would you have the longest?
I would say it was, mate.
Yeah. See, a woman will tell you it's the thickness that's important, not the length.
They would be saying much now. They would be. You know, literally. Yeah, I think, you know, the hair was identity as well. You know, me and Shane. Of course it was, yeah. But like what you just said as well, different areas. Like you go to Doncaster, none of the guys wear tops, and it's me and Shane walking in Versace'd up or D&G'd up, you know, to the eyeballs with this long hair. Yeah. Yeah. Or if we come over to the northwest, they're all wearing, you know, Lacoste or Rockports or you know, and stuff like this. So and we're still wearing these tight, you know, Versace jeans, and, you know. So yeah, but it's weird, you know. We got accepted wherever we went, and it's good to see identity. But we definitely had that as our identity, you know.
So when did the hair go? When did you call it a day?
I had an argument with a wife and I, my mate who I used to dance with, who we had the dance group together, Gary. He owned a massive barber shop all around, you know, and it was his dream to take it off, so he actually clipped it off and run around like an Indian. Yeah.
So was it full length when you got a cut?
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking hell, because a lot of people go shorter, and then...
So I turned up at a Helter Skelter, which I'd taken my first retirement, so I hadn't been out for a little while, and then Dave asked me, please, do you want to come and do this? Yeah, so I went and done it. You know, if you want to hear a funny story, this is class, So it was New Year's Eve, and David asked me to do Helter, and I'd be so-called retired,
Is that what Dave Prattley now, Yeah,
Dave Prattley from Helter, and he convinced me, come and do it. So I weren't on the flight because he'd already done the flight, but he puts, you know, guest or special guest. So anyway, getting closer to New Year's Eve, and I still hadn't told the wife, closer to New Year's, about 2 weeks before, she comes up to me and goes, I've got everyone coming around our house at New Year's Eve. Yeah, a couple of your mates are coming, all that.
Spoiler alert, I'm not going to be there.
Shit, what am I going to do here? So I think I'll start it out. Right, I'm going to tell her. New Year's Eve comes, the party's there. And mum and dad there, mum and dad, everything, right? My mate's there, he's gone, Lee, what are you going to do? I said, I've already put the car keys under the wheel because I know she's going to grab them. I've got my clothes in the boot, the car's parked around the corner. So all of a sudden, I'll come down and went, listen, guys, I'm really sorry, I didn't know about this party, I'm booked at a big gig, I'm going to have to leave now, I can't turn it down, it's what I do. So she's gone mad, throwing ornaments at me in front of everyone, her dad throwing all obscenities. So I stormed upstairs, she's hitting me and everything. She steamed back downstairs, you ain't going nowhere, I'll throw your keys out in the garden. I've got spares. So next thing I thought, I need a distraction, So I found one of her big buzzing buddies,
And that's something special.
You can ask my mate Kev, turned it on full blast, threw it down the stairs, it was doing the moonwalk like Michael Jackson at the bottom. bouncing around, yeah. Right? And all of a sudden I went, now dance with that, you bastards. Climbed down the drain pipe, yeah, straight into my old Orion, straight up the M25 M1 into Helter.
Now.
Come back to a barrel shit. I got clothesline with a chair when I walked round the corner.
Fucking hell. So was this New Year's Eve, the Millennium one?
No, that's well. This
earlier.
Yeah, I think it was like 97 one. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll touch on Helter Skelter now. So obviously Dave Prattley's he's retired the brand now, hasn't he? And I don't think he's going to bring it back. What was your first Helter? I know you played the last ever Helter Skelter. Am I right in saying you played the last ever set? Yeah, at the last ever Helter Skelter. That's a fucking prestigious thing in itself.
Honour, humble, wow, boom. The funny thing is, Dave phoned me and said, Lee, I've spoken to Shane, but I need a favour. When he asked us that, and I said, yeah, what's that, mate? Anything, what do you need? He said, will you do the last ever set at Helter? I said, a favour? I said, what? Wow. He said, I don't know if it is going to be a day, but at the moment, this is what it looks like, So, yeah, we went up most emotional, whatever. But going back to the first, I think unofficially, it was Zoom, I think, 95. If I'm right in dates, I think that was my first where I actually was on the tape pack. But yeah, that just become in our DNA, Usually last set as well, Dave had a thing of putting us on last.
That's probably why you did the fine leather. People like what's the word? Familiarity. If someone plays last, for the last one ever, it would make sense. Yeah. So how many Helters do you think you played?
8.
Really? Yeah?
8 or 9.
It's mad, isn't it? Because it's like Faulty Towers. People don't realise it was only ever 2 seasons. It was a fucking huge show. 8 Helter Skelters and the impact you've made just off. I mean, I heard of you guys from Helter Skelter tape packs, and I think I've got them all on CD somewhere. Yeah. I'm shocked that it was only 8. I thought you were on every one. Just shows, doesn't it?
It's strange as well because everyone, I always put little posts or reminisce on everyone else does, on all different formats and whatever, but. What people think is our best set, for me, I don't think it is. There's parts of it that I think people keep going on about the Timeless set, which, funny enough, it was Halloween, 24 years yesterday, it was. And it's got, I think 700,000 views on YouTube and stuff like this. But listening to the whole set from end, finish to start, I would say maybe, I wouldn't say it was. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's so weird that people think, I think that Helter, there were so many of them. There weren't. Yeah. They really weren't. Yeah. Even down to going back to when I started, I know we've, gone back, we said we'd do this, but one of my first ever bookings, so I'd had these little ones, was Dreamscape 20. Yeah. So, 28,000 people. Literally, I played in, Kinetic, which was big to a degree, but I played in mainly sort of smaller clubs. To go, hyperbolic over, the East Coast. Obviously Equinox and, a few. But to go to that, wow. Yeah. Did you do much stuff abroad? Yeah, loads. It's strange, Germany. The first time I ever went to Germany, I'm thinking, what they want an MC for? They all speak German. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, how are they going to understand me? What am I going to do? Am I going to talk in between like we normally do? Mc LiveLee. Yeah, good talk, I could count in German because my mum used to drum it into me. But they all, like Canada, they listened to the tape packs and they knew it word for word. And they loved it. And even the German MCs MC'd in English. Really? Yeah. So a lot of the Dutch do that as well, to be fair, as well, yeah. It's strange, isn't it? Yeah, they're very host orientated, the Dutch ones, where the German ones were, into breakbeat stuff, really, on the English side, you could hear their influences, who they listen to and stuff like that. So loads of countries, so many, mate, and all different in their own right, different music, from America to Canada, to Poland to Germany, to every place that we went to, Australia, they were all different, mate, So we've got to talk about retirement now, because I think you've retired more than Conor McGregor and Tyson Fury combined. They did my model. So when was the first time you retired, and why? I think it was 96. People will probably come back and tell me the exact date. I think it was at Helter. Yeah. And it was when I think Georgia was born, me first. But then it weren't a thing. It was, I think, it was more stress on the family thing. You know, I worked in the week as well, but I used to go missing as well. So you balance that with that. I wanted to do the gigs, but there weren't the money there then, you know, to support the family. And so I thought I had to, hated every second of it. So hang on a minute, I'm jumping back on this. Yeah. I think along the way, my thing of retirement was it's probably comes out wrong. It's more me stepping back, mate.
Yeah, I need a break. Yeah.
I need a break. Or I need to be more selective in what I'm doing. Yeah? It gets to the stage where you want to be on every flyer. If you see a flyer that you're not on, you're like this. Yeah. But then you're not enjoying it. You're just on sort of auto mode. You know what I mean?
You get too diluted as well, don't you? If you're on everything, you know, there's DJs in Liverpool who are big on the Liverpool scene, and they're on every fucking flyer. And it's like, at what point are the people going to go, I've seen enough of them now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You need to want something, and if someone's been away, I think Tyson Fury knows the fucking game better than anyone. He retires because he knows full well at some point, you know, some promoter or something is going to turn up at his door and offer him some fucking money, and you know he's going to come out of retirement, isn't he?
And do you know what, mate? It's also the money thing. I don't think it was ever like the money thing, because I was never going to earn the money that I could earn doing my job or whatever. But I think it was more the balance, that I had to find my way into enjoying what I did, and I could enjoy that if I'm going home, waking home with a stiletto in my head from my ex-wife.
Yeah, and there's also, which we touched on before, you know, there's the casualty of the rave scenario. People, it's synonymous with drug use. It's synonymous with late nights and loose women and all that and that kind of stuff. And it's not a good look for the family man, is it?
I said it to you earlier, when the disco lights go off, you know, everyone doesn't want your picture, you know, and all this. There's no music, and you know, you're not signing things and stuff like this. You are a normal guy with kids and stuff like that, and you know, you've got your kids looking at you needing clothes and stuff like this. Is that going to do that, or am I going to go and blow it on, you know what I mean, on a quarter of powder or something, you know what I mean? So I think, you know, I was aware of it, but I knew the only thing I could do sometimes was walk away. Did you find the transition of, you know, being out Friday, Saturday night, sometimes Sunday, and then being this complete, like you say, a completely different guy, like a flip of the coin, innit? You know, Monday to Thursday, you're Lee the father, Lee the husband, you know, and then Friday to Sunday, you're this fucking, you know, pseudo pop star type thing. And I think a lot of it is massaging your ego, you know, which is what I've learned now, you know, that you're only doing these gigs, to keep that bit of what you think you was back then, you know, alive, you know. But definitely it was there massively, you know. I am someone for 5 minutes, or whatever, forgetting that you're actually there to do a job, you know. But you know, literally that's why in the end I moved to Spain. We built a villa out in Spain, me and my wife, and it was a last ditch attempt of keeping us two together. So again, I was away from the raves. It didn't work, mate. All we was doing is escaping that we didn't get on with each other, you know. And it doesn't matter where in the world we was. It was pointless. So in the end, I got a phone call off of John Seduction. I'm doing up more, literally last chance to dance, at the Sanctuary. How much to get you back? I said, it's not a money thing, John. I said, I'm going to get in shit. He said, come on, offer me another figure. In the end, paid me flight. I didn't tell her.
There's a pattern here, isn't there?
Mate, a major one, mate. Flew back, said I had to go back and do something. Straight to Shane's house, got on it. But I can remember walking on that stage, and it was literally, I had told the lighting guy, turn all the lights off, and then just turn the light on to the stage. And I can remember it was like boom, this sound wave went through me. And do you know when it was that aligning moment where you feel like, you know, like when they say you're a basketball player and the ring is like, you know, 20 times the size where you can hit that shot from anywhere. It was, I could do a rhyme. It was there. The crowd were there. And I was there. You know, everything clicked.
How long had you been away at that point?
I think it was about a year and a half. No, it was 2 years.
Wow.
So me and Shane hadn't spoke for 2 years either. So longest ever. I phoned him up, you know, and just said, look, all right, mate. And he went, all right, mate. It was mad. It was just picked up where we left off. But we're brothers, you know. We're you know, so brothers have you know,
any relationship, especially when you spend that much time together, especially where there's alcohol and drugs involved as well, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and the come down that comes with that, you know, there's always going to be, you know, it's not going to be smooth sailing. Doesn't matter whether it's a work relationship, you know, a friend relationship, or you know, or a partner relationship. You know, it's never going to go smoothly, is it? You know.
Well, it did go smoothly, because then we went back to Vibes' house after Upmore. I said, whatever happens, no one pick up Shane's own phone, yeah? So all of a sudden, one of my mates, Tony's mates, come in called Dick and went, "LiveLee, your wife's on the phone." I went, "Good one, Dick." Yeah, and he went, "No, she is." I went, "Yeah, all right." So we all walked out there. I picked up my phone and she's giving it large, mate. So I'm like, "Fucking hell, Dick, why, mate?" Oh, mate, so a cover was blown, and we split straight after that, and then got back into it. The music had changed hugely, you know. And that was hard, because, you know, we was in the old school arena, second arena, while, you know, all this new Clubland and stuff like that would come in. Yeah. So, and people have evolved, you know, people like Storm and Wizkid and the MC and had lifted it, you know. Yeah.
They've took it to a really high level, haven't they? Was it Wizkid who was MCing at like the VMAs or something like that at one point, wasn't he? Or something really...
All sorts of weird stuff. You know, he's gone, he's amazing. Do you know, they're both two different characters as well, but... You know, again, it just showed you what, you know, how many people then, you know, like when they copied us, now copied them, you know, and it's quite good to see all the journeys of people, you know. Yeah.
So we're going to go on to some fan questions now, because yours was one of the most anticipated podcasts we've done. So we're going to play the fan question jingle.
Hello. 112. Now it's fan question.
And you may have heard Mallorca Lee there. That was that, yeah. Okay, so the first question we got from the fans is from a fellow MC, good friend of mine, Paulo H.
Yep.
He said, which MC or MCs inspired you when you first started?
MC.
Yeah.
Full on, mate.
Okay. Steve Baker wants to know, what was your favourite rave or rave promotion?
Can I say a few?
Of course you can.
Yeah. Obviously, on the bigger scale, Helter. Yeah. On the club side, I would say in the UK, Kinetic. Yeah, I loved the Drome, you know. But then again, I loved all, you know, there were so many different pockets. But the one that really sticks in my head was one called Circus, which was in Banbridge in Northern Ireland. Yeah. And I used to fly out there every month as a resident, not with Vibes, as a resident. And you're talking two sides of, you know, animosity, forgetting everything for that one night. And that club was legendary, mate. Yeah.
I was lucky enough to play in Northern Ireland in a club called, I think it was called Cheers, like a bar in County Down.
Yeah.
And we got the same vibe. You know, we were used to like going in Liverpool or Birkenhead, where we were spoiled, you know. There was no fucking war on our streets, you know. There was no animosity. Obviously, you had the general thing of, you know, possibly getting your leg kicked in on a fucking Saturday night. But other than that, you know, we had quite a nice life. And we went over to Northern Ireland, and you'd see these kids walking in, and they're unzipping the coat, and they couldn't get the fucking coat off quick enough to dance. And the atmosphere was fucking unbelievable.
Two guys I really, you know, out there was a DJ called Eddie Ray. Yeah. And X-Ray, and obviously a guy called Tizer.
Yeah, they were the main ones, and he had one called Sci, S-C-I, not S-Y.
Yeah. But yeah, even down to they had a magic show, a guy called Mark Oberton, halfway through the rave, where everyone used to sit on the floor and watch this guy do illusions, mate.
Oh my God.
No joke, mate. So, mad place, yeah, so definitely so many places in the UK, but they are the ones that, you know, are in my heart.
Bit of a cheeky one now from DJ Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Your old Milwaukee's buddy. L'Oreal or Head and Shoulders? He's made the country.
Yeah, he's mugged me off.
He's fucked you off there.
I was more a Serum man, you know. Yeah, Serum, because, you know, literally that's why I used to tie it back, because otherwise if it was out, it used to frizz up like a mofo. Yeah, so I think it was too late. If it was dandruff, I would have snorted it. So in fairness, it weren't Head and Shoulders, mate. So
your fucking dandruff probably went with
fucking would have been worth $1, mate. I tell you, Paolo would have made $1 on it.
So DJ Silly G wants to know, if you hadn't hooked up with Vibes, who would you like to have had a partnership with?
The I was lucky. I ended up doing an event called Back to Your Roots in Birkenhead, where I ran it with a good friend of mine, Chris Worm. And, based on the old school, I got to book, I classed them as my heroes. All the DJs that are my mates, but I never got to MC with.
Yeah.
So, Scotty Brown, Hicksy, all of these guys, but I'll tell you the one that stands out for me, definitely Cy.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I like the way he plays, and he does a scratch, I do a rhyme. We built it in together.
Worked well, yeah.
Really worked well,
Yeah.
So, definitely,
Shout out to Cy, absolute legend. I actually spoke to Cy earlier this year, and he said he's got a bit going on, but get back to me next year, and I will, because I definitely want him on the show.
I'll give him a tickle in the week before.
Give him a nudge for us. Yeah. Okay, so Dave Jenko wants to know, what's your favourite year of your career so far? And a second part of the question, the fastest DJ you've ever MC'd for, as in BPM wise.
Wow. Yeah. Right. First part of the question.
Favourite year.
It's got to be 96.
Yeah.
It's got to be 96. Even though 97 and 98 were still great, I still think, we just exploded. And not just, it weren't building up to that. Like, we was playing fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the big ones, we was there. And we was turning massive ones down because we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fastest DJ and party payment, I've done a Gabba, speedcore, Frenchcore, but probably Sicknoff, who's Wiggy. Yeah. We've done a few things in ravers where it was like, the Sicknoff and Deadly show, so, on a boat, which was, in the middle of Ibiza, but, nowadays I'd die, but, it's all fun, it's all music, isn't it, mate? I think that's what we all. That's what started it. So just enjoy it, because everyone loves different genres. They come and go, oh, cool. I've never done that with any genre. Yeah,
Frenchcore's good though. I like Frenchcore.
I love Peacock and people like him. You know what I mean? It's got the anthem part of it. It's then got the Could I dance with?
Yeah, well, I found that it's much to my detriment. I got back into DJing a couple of years ago, and I got asked to do an old school events, and I was playing the likes of like the bouncy techno, Scott Brown Gate and all that kind of stuff, club scene stuff, Miracle League, Ultrasonic, which wasn't too bad. And then I got booked to play more gigs in Birkenhead, and I fell out of the hardcore now, so I only knew old school hardcore. And this was all like, no, we play new stuff. So I went down the rabbit hole of Frenchcore, and that's where I ended up playing. And I'm fucking 47 years of age now, DJing to 210 BPM fucking music is fucking hard.
Oh, mate,
it really is. It takes its fucking toll on you.
But again, I think our job being hardcore as well, for many years I had to find stuff that I can listen to in a week. Yeah. Because I can listen to rave all week. Otherwise I'll be bored of it by the weekend.
Yeah.
So, I love me trance and stuff like that. The 2000, trance stuff, I loved it. If I could get out and have a night, it would be God's Kitchen, or, if I weren't booked for one weekend or one night, I would definitely make sure that I get out,
Who was your favourite trance DJs then?
Well, back at the time, Georgie was flying then, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So, yeah, a little snog with Sonic and stuff like that, and, stuff like, but I don't know, it was just the music, it didn't care then. For me, it was probably Jolsey, because, we was mates with him and, bits and pieces. So, but, I loved it, Yeah.
Final fan question is from Alan Alser. How did your love for Birkenhead come about? Because there was a real affinity with the hardcore scene in Birkenhead, and you and Shane were like fucking adopted sons of Birkenhead at one point. Yeah.
I think, again, maybe it's a tough area, as we were saying early on in the interview, but at first, when I first went there, like when I said we had long hair, they were all, probably were skinheads with
a moustache,
bolts of tash, But when I first walked in the Drome, I can remember being surrounded and they in your face, and it's very aggressive if you're not from that area. Yeah. But these are guys who are just trying to show their love or their appreciation. But I can remember going, whoa, get back.
Yeah.
And they all stepped back and went, sorry, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. They weren't being aggressive.
Yeah. They just wanted to get close to you.
They just wanted to be heard or seen, but they're showing how much they loved.
Yeah.
And so as time goes on, we've got lifelong friends that we still are friends with, from there. So it proves the quality, of a tough area that, we are still friends from that day dot to now. So, but I don't know, used to spend a lot of time there, if it was because we was our last set maybe in Manchester, we'd then head back to there and have a sesh, whatever people said, we didn't get on it while we knew we was playing.
Yeah.
But
we'd that professional element
but
there,
we'd fucking make up for it a few days after.
He also asked, do you remember a couple of years ago when you were playing Woodchurch Community Centre and some kid asking Vibes if he was Darren Styles?
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I've played there. I've played at the Ford Social Centre as well, mate. People come up and go, what's it, you've gone from that to that, don't you think it's a bit... No, because they're the kids who grew up with us and stuff like that, and we would have done it back then.
Do you find you get more nervous at the bigger venues or the smaller ones where it's a bit more intimate?
The up close and personal, mate. When you can see the whites of the eyes, the only thing is now, when people... I've always been known for giving shouts out and bits and pieces where some of them won't, know. But now... My eyes went that quick, so I can't wear my glasses on stage because they steam up, so, but people ask me to do shouts, but I can't see them off their phone, genuinely, mate, so even now, so I'm like, hang on, I've got to put my glasses on, so it's a bit weird, mate. I feel like my old mate Junior, literally, mate, you'd have to whisper in Junior's ear, it's lively, I am buff, you know what I mean, but it's without a doubt, mate, I think the up close and personal,
it's more intimate, isn't it?
Yeah, we played at the Love Parade in Germany, and with all those hundreds of thousands, whatever it was of people, but you can't see the stage is so far away, Wembley, when we played at Wembley Arena, you could not see because it was dark. We're throwing records out. We could have been decapitating people, mate. We wouldn't have. I'll tell you, the Sanctuary was better formatted for that. It was still big, but you was close, and bowlers as well. And Rez used to always do stages and run down the middle and stuff like that. So, but no, my wedding night to MC at my own wedding with my mum and dad there and kids there. Now that was the most intimidating ever, without a doubt.
So okay, we're gonna on with some quick fire questions towards the end now. Being back in Birkenhead, that one.
Cool, mate. I thought cyanide had just busted through the back door, mate.
MC LiveLee, I will take your first answer and your first answer only. Are you ready?
Oranges.
Football or boxing?
Football.
What would be your first purchase if you won the Euro Millions lottery?
Plastic nose inserts.
Roast dinner or a full English breakfast?
Roast dinner.
Goonies or Ghostbusters?
Goonies all day, mate.
Early set or a late set?
Late set.
A celebrity you'd most like to perform for? Not sexually, by the way. Although you can answer that if you want.
Danny with an eye. Danny Menzies from A Place in the Sun. Sorry, Jodie. Or Jasmine from A Place in the Sun. Or Laura Hamilton from A Place in the Sun. Or anyone at once.
Shout to Jodie.
Yo, Joe.
Roses or Quality Street?
Toblerone.
Toothache or a kick in the bollocks?
Oh, mate, I've had too many kicks in the bollocks, so I was going for toothache.
Mario or Sonic?
Sonic.
What's the one thing you'd rid from the world?
Rid from the world? Greed.
And what's the best podcast you've ever been on?
Couture 303.
Hey!
With my man Jayviperdj.
Well, that just about does it for me. Have you got any shout-outs or mentions you want to get out there?
Obviously, all the usuals, my kids, to, George O'Reilly, Lucas, to Chelsea, to my little man Alfie, to Jodie, and obviously Vibesy, to yourself for doing this, mate. Thank you very much. And mainly to everyone who's ever, come be part or just, even turned up once and listened to us. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the journey, because I have.
When I spoke to you originally, when we first discussed doing this podcast, and you said to me, we're just regular guys.
Yeah.
You are, to a degree, but I think you need to appreciate to a lot of people you're a lot more than that. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time and doing the show. I'm going to finish up with some music now. This is my new track. This is Antichrist by Jayviperdj.
The Couture 303 podcast with Jayviperdj.